If I can call this meeting to order. Welcome, folks. We have a full gallery today, and we have two agendas that we're going to be following. The first agenda is our Committee of the Whole agenda. As many of you know, it's where we deliberate a lot of the issues that are contained within the councilors' packages. And then following that, we'll enter into our council meeting, which we expect all discussion that was had and decisions that were made during Committee of the Whole will in fact be ratified at the council portion of the meeting. So with that, we're going to start off with our prayer by Councillor Frank Danch. Now, Councillor Danch, before you do get up, and I'm going to ask Joel to follow you with the national anthem. This evening, it's a pleasure that we have, actually we have a special treat for those folks watching on COGECO as well as those within the chamber. Tonight, we are welcoming youth and leaders from Trinity United Methodist Church in from Warner Robins, Georgia, to the council chamber here in the city of Port Colborne. They have been visiting with the First Lutheran Church here in our community, and we welcome them to play a few songs for us tonight. They will, in fact, be introduced by one of their leaders, Christy, and I'll call on Christy after we do the prayer national anthems. We're going to do two national anthems tonight. We're going to test Joel with the American national anthem, but we're going to start off with the Canadian national anthem, and that will be followed by the American national anthem. So with that, I'm going to call on Councillor Danch with the prayer.
Before I start the prayer, I'd like to ask that we just have a few moments silent for the 3 RCMP officers that were killed in Halifax this past week. Just a short moment, please. O God, the giver of all that is good, by your holy inspiration, grant that we may think those things that are right, and by your merciful guiding accomplish them through Jesus Christ, your Son, our Lord, who lives and reigns with you and the Holy Spirit, one God, now and forever. Amen.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons command. Car ton bras s'est porté l'épée, il s'est porté la croix. Ton histoire est une épopée de plus brillant exploit. God keep our land glorious and free. Old Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Old Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
I feel like, good job, Joel. Well done.
Thanks.
I actually felt like I was at the Sabre game. yeah. That's great. If I can call Christy up. Where's Christy? There she is. Christy, come on up and you can tell us a little bit about yourselves. I know it was quite a trip down here.
It was. We got to let him introduce and then
Oh, excellent.
you so much for letting us come and join your meeting this evening. As was mentioned before, we are from Georgia, all the way down south, and we're glad to be up here with y'all. I'm emphasizing the accent because we enjoy being down south. But thank you very much for letting us come. We apologize, first of all, for being so casual looking. Normally, we're dressed up, which would be nice for the mayor and everybody here this evening, but we've been supporting your economy today, and we were at Niagara Falls, and we've been kind of swimming in the falls and all that good stuff, and then we came straight over here to join you all. So just please excuse our appearance this evening. But this is our group of, we have 6th through 12th graders that are in our choir and our handbell choir. Many of them started when they were in elementary school and joined the choir. A lot of these kids have been playing bells for 8, 9, 10 years, and they really enjoy it. So thank you very much for letting us come join you this evening. our group, our lovely director over here that I'm kissing up to because she's my mother, she actually has been the music director at our church for 40 years. 37 of those years she has taken teenagers on the road, and she still chooses to do so. I mean, go figure. But we enjoy doing this every year. We have taken groups all the way out to California. We've come up to Canada several times, and we like it so much that we keep coming back. And we just travel and sing basically anywhere that they want to listen to God's love through music. And we just love sharing his love through music, through song. Today at Niagara Falls, we sang a couple times to people that would see our bright yellow shirts and ask our story, and we would stop and sing. So we love singing his praises, and the kids have 2 songs that they would love to share with you all as we continue. So please enjoy.
Jesus came forth to be born of a virgin. cross and take you home to Jesus. Hear that good news. Hear that good news. Hear that good news. Hear that good news, my Lord. Good news. Hear that good Why don't you swing that cherry stop and let me ride? Swing that cherry stop and let me ride. Rock me, Lord, calm and easy. Find a home on the other side. Swing that cherry stop and let me ride. Swing that cherry stop and let me ride. Rock me, Lord, calm and easy. Find a home on the other side.
Well, Ezekiel went down in the middle of the field. He saw an angel working on a chariot wheel. He wasn't in particular about the chariot wheel. He just wanna see how the chariot feels.
Swing that cherry stop and let me ride. Swing that cherry stop and let me ride. Rock me, Lord, calm and easy. Find a home on the other side. Swing, 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 swing.
Well, Ezekiel went down and he got on board. Chariot went thumping up and down that old road. He wasn't particular about the bumping of the road.
Just wanna lay down his heavy load. Swing that cherry stop and let me ride. Swing that cherry stop and let me ride. Rock me, Lord, calm and easy. I've got home on the other side. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Oh, Lord, I want to be in that number. When the saints go marching in. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Oh, Lord, I want to be in that number. When the saints go marching in. Oh, Lord, I want to be in that number. When the saints go marching in. Swing that cherry stop and
Stop and let me ride.
swing that cherry stop and let me ride. Rock me, Lord, calm and easy. I've got home on the other side. I've got home on the other side. I've got home on the other side. Swing that cherry stop and let me ride.
Well, guys, well done. Well done. Tonight, you may not know this, but tonight we're taking the opportunity to recognize a lot of our youth in Port Colborne from both high schools, from Lakeshore Catholic High School as well as Port Colborne High School. Youth that have made us proud here in Port Colborne. Well, I can honestly say, and probably on behalf of your communities, how proud we are of you and how well you performed tonight and how well you represented your hometown. We thank you for that. As well, I have to also thank Claudia Brema. I don't know if Claudia is here. Is Claudia here? Yeah, she's here. Claudia Brema over there. Claudia actually got a hold of me last night about 9:30 at night. And she said, you have to bring these youngsters out to the council meeting. They were so inspiring. She's seen you guys play yesterday and perform yesterday. And she said, you really have to allow the community to be blessed with your talents and to hear you folks perform. And so I have to give my assistant Nancy, who's back there in the red, all the credit, because her and Claudia worked extremely hard to get you guys down here tonight to perform for our community. And lastly, to you and to all you folks, thank you. I know you guys didn't plan this. This is all put together within a couple hours, and you guys wrote being tourists in beautiful Niagara, and I hope you're enjoying it. But with that, you took the time to come out here and, again, bless us with your talents and your presence. So I thank you for that. Job well done. You guys should be extremely proud of yourselves. Now, usually when I do have guests come down from out of town, I bless you with a whole slew of different artifacts and prizes and pins and city keys and all that, so you can get in City Hall at 3 o'clock in the morning. But apparently you guys already got all that stuff. So I have nothing more to give you. But all I can give you is my, again, our appreciation for bringing your talents here. So with that, I guess you guys are going to have a couple minutes to tear down here. So I am going to recess this portion of the meeting. But again, guys, keep your chins up, because I tell you, you're fantastic. You represent your community and your country, by the way, very well. And enjoy your time here in Niagara. Now, they're going to be here for another couple weeks. I tried, guys. I tried. I really did. But by all means, guys, be proud of yourselves. Great job. If I can reconvene this meeting after that treat, that was great, eh? That was fantastic. Just and so appropriate with all the youth here, and youth from both sides of the border. Just wonderful. With that, members of council, I will ask the clerk if we have any addendum items this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. No, there are no addendum items this
Thank you,
evening.
Annette. Members of council, if I can have a motion to confirm the agenda, please. Councillor Butters, Councillor Doucette, any questions or comments? All those in favor? Opposed? That will be carried. Disclosures of interest. Are there any disclosures of interest? With none, we'll move on to determining items for separate discussion. Councillor Elliott.
Item 5, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor. Further items, members? Councillor Desmarais.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Item 3.
Further items. If I can have someone lift item 2. Councillor Kenny. As well as item 5 has already been lifted. Is Peter here? Sinez? Yes. Peter, do you want to talk about transit? Or you're good? You're good? Okay.
You're just staying back there until we get the presentations.
Actually, yeah.
We'll lift number 1, too.
Actually, B, can you lift number 9 and number 11? Okay? 9 and 11. Just not 9 and 11. Yeah. Yeah, I just want to get a couple updates on those so council's aware of what's happening at the region. Okay, with that, members, we'll now move on to the approval of the remainder of the items. Mover and seconder, please. Councillor Bodner, Councillor Elliott. Are there any questions or comments? All those in favor? Opposed? That would be carried. We do have a few presentations here this evening, and I'll be making those from the podium. Well, good evening, folks. I have to say this first. I have to preface my comments by saying this. This is by far the favorite part of my job. By far, the favorite part of my job is recognizing the next generation and the generation after that. We've seen these kids from Georgia, and now, equally, if not more importantly, are recognizing the kids from our community, because that's in fact what this is all about. Although we got to sit here and do our council thing every Monday night or every second Monday, for the most part, this is the important part, is recognizing and how we got so much to look forward to with one of you guys actually wearing these chains sometime in the future, and of course donning a seat here on council, but most importantly being leaders of our community. And I think from the accomplishments that you're making right now, whether it be academic, whether it be in the skills, or whether it be in sport, you're proven that the kids and the youth and even the young adults of our community, there's something to be said about your accomplishments, and that's just wonderful that we can take this opportunity to actually have you guys out to our council meeting to recognize everything that you guys are actually accomplishing. So with that, and a great turnout it is to recognize some of our top students here in the city of Port Colborne. Tonight we have students from the District School Board of Niagara and the Niagara Catholic District School Board. And we will be recognizing members of council the students' achievements in the skills competition as well as athletics here in our community. I will start with the skills competition. Our community schools are training our students in the trades that will help to keep them in our communities, not only here in the city of Port Colborne, but we hope throughout the Niagara region, with viable employment opportunities with our local as well as regional businesses. Each of you are an inspiration to your fellow students to work hard to achieve similar achievements. And don't underestimate that, because not only is the community watching you, but your friends, your neighbors, your peers are watching you as well, and equally as important, because their achievements are then equally as important. So first off, we're going to recognize our students from Lakeshore Catholic High School. I would first like to call up Principal Glenn Gifford from Lakeshore Catholic to say a few words. Principal Gifford? Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Badaway and Council, family and friends. My name is Glenn Gifford. I am the proud principal of Lakeshore Catholic High School. I want to take a few minutes today just to express my thanks. Initially, I'd like to thank the City of Port Colborne for taking the time today to recognize the accomplishments of both Lakeshore Catholic High School students, but also the accomplishments of our friends over at Port Colborne High School. Having these events really does give our students a sense of community. We have a saying at Lakeshore that we're using right now, made locally, ranked provincially. It's something that applies to our athletics, our academics, as well as many of the other activities that we're doing at school. Most recently, we just finished our production, our musical production of Grease, which was nominated for 16 Cappy Awards. We were able to take home 5, including Best Male and Female Vocalist, and we were also nominated for Best Musical. It was a fantastic event. Our sports teams, again, aside from our football success, our girls rugby team also won the zone championship this year, and our boys hockey team went to OFSA. Things are alive and well in a flurry of activity at Lakeshore Catholic High School. But I did want to focus on our skills competition, if I could briefly. Several of our students today achieved excellence at recent technology and skills competitions at a local, provincial, and national level. We thank the City of Port Colborne for their continued support of our students. Lakeshore Catholic High School has been involved with the City of Port Colborne recently with the completion of several surveys by our grade 12 graduates in the area of skills, trades, and technology. These surveys will assist planners in developing their long-range economic plans. It further highlights the importance of partnerships between city and its schools. Lakeshore Catholic High School and the Niagara Catholic District School Board also recently signed a letter of understanding with Algoma Shipping to have Niagara Catholic students work with Algoma Shipping as both co-op students as well as running a specialist high skills major program with Algoma. Lakeshore Catholic High School heard the president of Algoma loud and clear when he stated that 50% of his workforce will retire in the next 7 years. First as student workers, students in the special high skills major program will very shortly afterward, they will become Algoma employees working and raising families in the City of Port Colborne. I would like to thank all of our students who came. Special thanks to Mr. Mike Stevenson and Mr. Mark Teal, our manufacturing and construction teachers, for inspiring kids to motivate themselves. I would also like to just recognize briefly, I know you're going to go through, Mayor, and recognize some of our skills competitions, our gold medalists, and as well as our national silver medalist, was recently had a OFSA track and field event as well. And I wanted to highlight a few students at Lakeshore Catholic who did exceptionally well at the OFSA level in track and field. And first off, I would like to mention Wyatt Flagg in javelin, who finished 3rd in SASA and 1st in South Regionals and went to OFSA. He did a fantastic job. Also, Chandler Ladd, an ambulatory student at Lakeshore Catholic, who finished 1st and 2nd at Regional and SASA and finished 3rd in OFSA. And also Adam McLeod, who is a visually impaired student who finished 1st in both SASA and in South Regionals and finished 3rd at OFSA. So I would just like to highlight those track and field extraordinary students, and I know you're going to take the time now to recognize our excellent kids as they did extremely well in the area of skills and technology as they cleaned up at the Seaway Mall when we had our skills competition annually. So thank you again for your time, and we appreciate it, Lakeshore Catholic, the excellent relationship we have with the city of Port Colborne. Thank you.
Thank you, Principal Gifford. If I can start off with the following students who won medals in the Niagara Catholic District School Board Skills Competition, I would first like to call up Kenneth Cayugan and Jake Charlebois, who together won a bronze medal in the 2D Character Animation Division. Not here? For the ones that aren't here, Glenn, I'll just put them aside for you. Okay. I would like to call upon Dylan Slitter, who won a bronze medal in the welding division. Not here? I would like to call on Carly Nan, who won a silver medal in the baking division. These guys are busy baking and welding and I know it. They're in the garage right now getting right down to work, right? If I can call upon Marcus Pattison, who won a silver medal in the welding division. If I can call upon Kevin Bell, who won a gold medal in the cabinet making division. He then went on to the Ontario Skills Competition and faced some tough competition with a total of 34 competitors. Kevin? Usually when I see Kevin, you're the hockey player, right? Yeah. I see a big C on his shirt here, and he's captaining one of our hockey teams down at the arena. So, Kevin, it's great to see you with your shorts on and taking it easy for the summer months. Yeah. But I'll read the first certificate for you folks. Presented to Kevin Bell in recognition of your outstanding contribution during the Niagara Catholic District School Board Skills Competition and receiving a gold medal in the cabinet making division. May I extend congratulations on behalf of members of City Council and all the citizens of Port Colborne. Your dedication and commitment to your education reinforces the values evident throughout our community. And the mayor expects you to be at his home first thing tomorrow morning to do all his cabinets over again. I'm just kidding. But best wishes, Kevin, and good luck in your future. You got a great start. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Well done. You guys weren't catching on to that, eh? Went right over you. If I can now call on Elijah Lee and Dante Magazzini, who together won a gold medal in the team carpentry division. They too went on to the Ontario Skills Competition and worked very hard together against 45 other competitors. Guys, great job. Congratulations. Good job. Congratulations. If I can now call upon Blake DeRochers, did I pronounce that right, Blake? DeRochers, who won a gold medal in the electrical installation division. He then went on to the Ontario Skills Competition and did his best, working very hard. Blake, congratulations. Thank you. So electrical. Well done. You want to follow through?
Oh, yeah.
Right on. Good for you. That's great. If I can now call upon Hannah Doby, who won a gold medal in the Graphic Design Studio Production Division. Hannah also went on to the Ontario Skills Competition. She finished 7th out of 29 competitors. Is Hannah? No? Okay. I would like to call upon Justin Hummel, Riley Langerap, Owen Pazinski? Really? There's no Z there. Okay. I'll trust you. And Brody Thompson, who together won a gold medal in the home building team division, as this team of young gentlemen went on to the Ontario Skills Competition, where they met some tough competition and came 12th out of 32. Congratulations, guys. Great job. Justin, congratulations. 48?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, your grandfather or your father was the mayor? grandfather. Okay. And Riley? Not here? I think that's what I'll just put this over here for you. Owen? Pazinski? Gotcha. And Brody? Good job. Congratulations, guys. You guys gonna stick to it? Yeah? Great. Good stuff, guys. Congratulations. Well done. I would now like to call upon Kara Wesney, who won a gold medal in the photography division. Kara then fought hard in the Ontario Skills Competition. Kara? Kara, great job. Congratulations. Well done. Here you go. If I can call on Aaron Elaschuk, who won a gold medal in the welding division. He then went on to the Ontario Skills Competition, where he placed 7th out of 24 competitors. He had some tough competition from Port Colborne High School, I hear. A little bit of a rivalry there, not here? I would now like to call Jeff Tapp, who won a gold medal in the plumbing division. He then went on to the Ontario Skills Competition. Jeff has improved each year he has gone to the Ontario Skills Competition. His first year, he placed 4th, last year getting a bronze, and this year rising again by winning a silver medal. Jeff, well done. Great job. Great job. Very good. There you go. Very good. You guys may have noticed, by the way, that that as I called the students up from Lakeshore Catholic, that they actually swept the welding division in the board competition. So all you guys, great work, great job. I would now like to recognize the accomplishments of the students from Port Colborne High School. If I can now call up Nigel Evans to say a few words. Nigel, come on up. Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor Badaway and Council. Thank you again for recognizing the accomplishments of the students here tonight. It is a very special thing, and we are very, very grateful for your time and support. I would like to commend the students of Lakeshore Catholic High School on outstanding results. Congratulations to you all. As you are aware, Port Colborne High School prides itself on a tradition of excellence, strong community base, and its innovative use of modern teaching and technology to best serve the students of Port Colborne and Wainfleet. This year, I am pleased to report to City Council our continued growth in programming opportunities for students, having added our 5th Specialist High Skills major program in hospitality and tourism. In this way, we can continue our impressive record of graduating more students with a Specialist High Skills major designation than any other school in the District School Board of Niagara per head of population. Academics continues to flourish. This year, Blue Bears have entered and won competitions in short video production, essay and poetry writing, artistic competitions, and we continue to excel in French language, having won the DSBN French-speaking competition for the last 6 years, including sweeping the junior and senior language competitions for each of the last 2 years. Tonight, Council is recognizing our track and field team. There are 8 Blue Bears who won and qualified at Zone, Southern Ontario, Region, and finally represented Port Colborne High School at the All Ontario Championships last week. 8 is the highest total of any local high school. Council is also recognizing our senior girls basketball team, who are all Ontario consolation finalists. This is an outstanding group of young ladies who lost twice in the regular season to Ridgeway Crystal Beach High School, only to beat them in front of a packed and partisan crowd at Ridgeway to take zone. Mr. Mayor, you will recognize many of these players as they were part of our junior girls saucer championship team, and they played like champions that day in Ridgeway. On to Saucer, which, without wishing to sound immodest, did not provide the same challenge as Ridgeway, and so they moved on to the All-Ontario Championship in Sault Ste. Marie, where they finished with a creditable 3-2 record and as consolation finalists. I know how much interest Council has in how the Blue Bears perform in all aspects of school life. The other day, I bumped into the city's Chief Administrative Officer, Mr. Bob Heil, who told me that Council was impressed not only by the variety of achievements at Port High, but also by the fact that different students were winning things over time, which is a direct reflection of the quality of teaching at Port Colborne High School. This is an astute observation because one set of statistics, good or bad, one performance, good or bad, is best viewed over a number of years to identify what the real underlying trend is. And I would respectfully suggest to City Council that the trend at Port Colborne High School with regard to its technology programme is something that the City and the Council have every right to be proud of. We continue to shine in construction, automotive, culinary arts and cosmetology. However, Council, Port Colborne High School does more than shine in manufacturing technology, it dazzles. In fact, there is unequivocal evidence that our programme has gained deserved national recognition, both for the Blue Bears and for the city. Consider our record. 7 Southern Ontario Welding Championships in a row. All Ontario provincial champions 3 out of the last 4 years. Canadian national champions 2 out of the last 4 years. And as CAO, Bob Heil, so correctly pointed out, all achieved with different students. There is clear evidence that this is the teaching, the result of the community support, and the talent of individual students combined with a strong work ethic that has brought about sustained success. It has also brought us to a point where the evidence is irrefutable that Port Colborne High School has the best technology programme in all Canada, second to none. I thank Council for the opportunity to give this report. I thank all the Blue Bear parents in Port Colborne and Wainfleet for their commitment to their children's education, and I applaud the Blue Bears that are here tonight in recognition of all that they have achieved. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
The following students competed in the District School Board of Niagara Skills Competition earlier this spring. I would first like to call up Daniel Stockill, who received the bronze medal in the culinary division. Barkley, you're just looking at me. I would now like to call upon Norton Ruvakamp, who won a bronze medal in the precision machining division. If I can call on Jordan Holoco, who won a bronze in the welding division. Like all the others, they're working in the garage, welding away. If I can call on Jamie Bonar, who won a silver medal in the welding division. Hey, by the looks of it, we got some great welders in Port Colborne, I'll tell you. Great job, Jordan. Congratulations. I would now like to call upon Eric Belhumer, who received the gold medal in the small powered equipment division. I would like to call upon John Van Giemen, who won a gold medal in the automotive service division, and he also went on to the Ontario Skills Competition and had some tough competition, but came 9th out of 38 competitors. Not here? If I can now call on Zach Dolan, who won a gold medal in the precision machining division. He went on to the Ontario Skills Competition and placed 4th out of 19 competitors. Zach, did I give you the right one? No. Either I had two or I gave you the wrong one. It was one of the two. Thank you. I'll give you these one correctly if you want. And finally, I would like to call up grade 11 student Elijah Shonwell. Where's Elijah? Ladies and gentlemen, this year Elijah won a gold medal in the welding division for the District School Board of Niagara Skills Competition. He then went on to the Ontario Technological Skills Competition and earned another gold medal there. It was Elijah's second provincial gold medal and the 6th consecutive year that the school has had a welding student at the provincial level. You may have noticed, too, as well, that Port Colborne High School swept the welding division at the board competition. Elijah carried on to the national competition in Toronto, and just last week, for the second time in the school's history, won the national competition in welding. As Nigel, or Principal Evans, had alluded to, how proud we are of the school community, and of course the team that you have there, because they're the ones, in fact, that you've relied upon throughout these years to become who you are today. And with that, a great message to you, Elijah, that on behalf of the entire community, not just your school community, but on behalf of the entire community, you've made all of us, including your peers, by the way, the people that you hang out with on a daily basis, and your family, extremely proud. And with that, we present you with a, you don't get a certificate, you actually get a plaque. So this is presented to Elijah in recognition of your outstanding contribution in the welding division, receiving a gold medal at the District School Board of Niagara Skills Competition and the Ontario Technological Skills Competition and the Skills Canada National Competition. Congratulations on behalf of members of City Council, but more importantly, Elijah, on behalf of the entire community, the citizens of the City of Port Colborne. Your dedication and commitment to your country, to your education, reinforces the value evident throughout our community, and with that, best wishes in your future. Congratulations. Well, hold on. We're expecting a 10-minute speech. That's not happening. I love it. Love it. That's not going to happen. That's great. Now it's time to move on to our athletics, which again is something to be very proud of. And Port Colborne High School students have placed very well in SASA, and 8 athletes went on to OFSA. So first off, I'd like to call upon Nicole Van Natter, who finished 4th in senior girls discus and qualified for OFSA. Nicole, congratulations. Well done. Well done. I would now like to call on Zach Piazza, who finished 4th in junior boys javelin and once again qualified for OFSA. Zach, good job. Great job. Congratulations. If I can now call upon Luke Clattenburg, who finished 3rd in senior boys discus and again qualified for OFSA. Not here? If I can call on Senzia Lampman, who finished in 3rd in midget girls discus and qualified for OFSA. Tell me you play basketball too. You're a coach's dream of basketball. Congratulations. Well done. I would now like to call on Emily Gamble, who was a Zone 3 champion in girls long jump, a SASA champion in girls triple jump, and then finished in 3rd in girls long jump and qualified for OFSA. Great work, Emily. Great work. Congratulations. Good job. What grade yet? Grade 10. Wow. So Nigel, you got 2 years, 2 more years of her. That's great. If I can now call upon Creek Barrick, who was a Zone 3 SASA and OFSA South Regional Champion in junior boys, shot put, javelin, and qualified for OFSA. Right here. If I can now call on Alyssa Boisvenu, who was a Zone 3 SASA and OFSA South Regional Champion in senior girls discus, and a Zone 3 and SASA champion in senior girls shot put, and qualified for OFSA. No? There's a familiar face. Finally, I would like to call up Jasmine Kickert-LeBeau. Jasmine placed second in the senior girls discus and qualified for OFSA, and went on to OFSA and won a bronze medal in the senior girls discus. Jasmine, great job. Congratulations. Take that smile, right? Great job, man. Great job. Congratulations to all the track athletes. You guys, once again, made us proud. So, well done. Well done to all of you. Now I'd like to recognize the Port Colborne High School girls senior basketball team for once again an amazing season. Wasn't it just last year or the year before I was giving you guys some? 2 years ago? Again, amazing season. The girls won the Zone 3 championship and moved on to become the SASA A senior girls champions. The team represented the city of Port Colborne and the DSBN when they traveled to Sault Ste. Marie for the Ontario Championship Tournament. And a great job by the girls. And I have to say, a lot of these girls I'm familiar with because you guys, a lot of you guys played with my daughter, Logan, right? Logan or Jordan? Logan, right? Yeah. But so I've seen you guys since you were like this big. Now, Jasmine, you got to watch your head over here, right? My, you've grown, all you guys. But at OFSA, the team was initially ranked 8th in all of Ontario, and the team played until the consolation finals where they ended up with a 3-2 record. Girls, well done. Again, you've made your community proud. And with that, I'd like to call upon each member of the team. Sarah Earhart. Sarah's here. Come on up, Sarah. Now, many of you guys know Sarah. Her dad works for the city. He's the guy that you guys always call to get the roads plowed when they're not plowed and all that. He often brings Sarah out, from what I hear. Sarah, congratulations. And I'm going to read the first certificate. This is presented to Sarah Earhart, and it's in recognition of your outstanding contribution to the Port Colborne High School senior girls basketball team and your achievement as 2014 Zone 3 and SASA A senior girls champions. May I extend congratulations on behalf of members of City Council and all the citizens of the City of Port Colborne. Your dedication and commitment to your school reinforces the value of teamwork evident through our community. And as I always say, and you guys got to listen to this, okay, and I can't take credit for this saying, being a Philadelphia Flyer fan, as I have been for the better part of my life, this was actually said by Fred Shuro, who was the coach of the Philadelphia Flyers back in 1975. And he said to his team this, and how true it is win together today, walk together forever. You guys get that? You guys have played together for many years now at your high school level and probably traveling as well, and you've won together. You've created a relationship. Well, that's something that's never going to be lost in the rest of your life, and you're going to walk together forever. When you're my age, or when you're Bob's age, you're going to remember this, and you're going to talk about it. You're going to be having a girls' night out and putting the hubbies away and the kids aside, and let Dad take care of the kids for the night. And you're going to go out and you're going to have those sweaters on, and you're going to remember this, and you're going to walk together forever. So congratulations, Sarah. Well done. Well done. Maddie Edwards, Madison Edwards, come on up. Maddie, good job. Congratulations. Taylor Fraser. Taylor's not here? You guys gotta excuse me, I'm just battling this terrible cold. Corey Fuller. Corey, great job, congratulations. Well done. So how many of you girls are actually slamming it? Jazz, come on. Not yet? That close? Carly Johnson. Congratulations. Well done. Jasmine Kickert-LeBeau. Congratulations. Well done. Watch your head.
I know.
How's Mom doing? Good? Yeah. Emily Johnson. How you doing, kid? Good to see you. Congratulations. Well done. Abby McPherson. The Abster. Good job, kid. Well done. Well done. Playing soccer this year?
Yes, I am.
Are you? Good stuff. Abby's a threat on the field. Cheyenne Morrison. Cheyenne's not here? I bet you she's got soccer. Aren't you supposed to be playing soccer tonight? Abby? Yeah.
No, we have the week off.
You had the week off? Okay. I thought they were playing tonight. Sephra Rustin. Where's Sephra? Not here? She's a real treat to watch in a basketball court, eh? She's like a pit bull out there. Well, she's a typical Rustin. Nicole Van Natter. Got it right that time, eh? Congratulations. Well done. Well done. May Lannon. May, congratulations. Well done. Well done. I bet you can all guess that's Tom's niece, right? Okay. Madison McAvoy. Good job. My God, time flies, eh? I remember all you guys when you were like that big. Just barely be able to hold that basketball. I also now want to call upon the coaches, Aaron Kelso and Barkley Walker. Barkley, well done. Do you want to say a few words? You sure? Okay. Just in conclusion, folks, I have to say this because it's just, as the mayor of a community, especially the mayor of a community that has such high standards when it comes to our high schools. Like, let's face it, we're a city of 18,000 people. And first of all, to have two high schools, there's something to be said about that. But to have two high schools of such high quality, high standards, the faculty, and how much they care at both schools to be able to push out our students to post-secondary as well as into the private sector, which, by the way, students, we hope you stay here and work in your latter years, but as well the parents for your commitment to your children and young adults now that enable us as a community to be that much better because of it. Because like I said earlier, at the end of the day, we move on, just like our parents and our grandparents did in their day. And we're dependent as a community because I said this, and although it wasn't well received at the time, I had to say, I said this to a speech I said a few weeks ago at Northland Point. And what I said was, although we all move on, probably not the best thing to say at Northland Point, but as we move on, okay, but as we move on, and the reality is we do. That's the reality. The reality is generations move on. And 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now, we're going to be gone. But our community is going to be here forever. Our community will be here forever. So therefore, it's incumbent upon us as leaders today to ensure that we have good leaders tomorrow. And why it's so special for us to recognize you here today. It's the very least we can do because we know how much blood, sweat, and tears you put into your athletics and you put into those skills competitions. And how much we appreciate the teachers and the faculty and the parents who are preparing the next generation of leaders. Both principals here tonight. Preparing the next generation. So that therefore, someday, as I said earlier, you'll be sitting around this horseshoe, either as a mayor or a councilor, or you'll be leaders in your community, whether it's in business, whether it's in coaching, whether it's in mentoring, and how important that is so that the city of Port Colborne, many, many, many years down the road, beyond our day, beyond our time, will be better because of it. So always remember that. And like I said, this will be yours one day. And this will be yours one day. But most importantly, the community will be yours to cherish and to nurture and to ensure that it's better tomorrow than the way you found it today. To the principals, thank you. Thank you for coming out tonight. I truly appreciate it. Although two different schools, to me, Port Colborne youth. Regardless of what school they may go to, they're Port Colborne youth. And what you guys have done and what you guys have accomplished, regardless of what flag you might be waving, you're still from Port Colborne. We're your home. We're proud of each and every one of you. And go away tonight being proud of yourself, because those accomplishments are something that you'll always have. You'll always have with you. It's something nobody can ever take away from you. And wave your flag proudly, whether it be a Lakeshore flag or a Port Colborne High flag. But the one flag that I always want you to wave proudly is the Port Colborne flag. Thank you for coming out tonight, Nigel, as well as Mr. Gifford. And by the way, Mr. Gifford is newly minted principal at Lakeshore. So Glenn, welcome to the community. I know you're coming back because you were here at one time. So again, Glenn, welcome. And of course, Nigel, thank you. Thank you for everything that you've offered our community as well. It's much appreciated. So folks, have a great evening. And once again, keep making us proud, guys. Let's get to work here. I'm going to move right into councillors' items, new business. Are there any councillors' items or new business this evening? Councillor Doucette?
For Mr. Hanson, we at budget time set aside $10,000 for the new pad at the East Village, as well as the new basketball net, or at least adjusting it back up. I'm being asked by the community, when is this happening? So we were just wondering when it is, so I can give them back, I can send them some kind of information.
Mr. Hanson?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to Councillor Doucette. Yes, that work has been discussed by engineering and park staff, so I'll get back to Councillor Doucette within the next day to give you a firm timetable on that. The work has been discussed, it's been planned, so we'll get back to you with a firm timetable on that for the residents.
Thank you, Mr. Hanson. Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Danch?
I know you always think I'm the complainer, but I'll start off with complimenting engineering on getting our garbage cans out on Main Street. We've got 2 more cans out there, one by the wishing well and one in front of Aunt Jackie's, so a little bit more a way to help keep our community clean. On the other side, where I always go, of course, the bike racks on Main Street, every one of them, the paint's coming off. It seems pretty repetitive. The caps, the powder coating is come right off. Every one of them is white. It's definitely going to be something that needs to be looked at, maybe a little brushing and some trim clad or some darn thing, but it seems like every one of them. The other thing being the bridge going across the Weir. The beautiful bridge that we fixed up a few years ago, the coating on it. I know it's a seaway issue, but the whole thing's just gone all to pot. Really, it looks 100 years old, and I don't know if that's the finish they were looking for, but it doesn't look the best. We had a BIA meeting last week, and a few of our merchants got together, and Gino Spada was one of the people that came in with an idea that he wanted me to share with city staff, and he mentioned the flower boxes on the street. I walked down the street last night with my wife, and he's correct. There's 44 of them, and what he was thinking is maybe we could possibly repurpose these and possibly dwindle it down a little bit and start with maybe some marine memorabilia, ship's wheels, ship's intakes, some plaques, something that goes along with our city and what we do here. So just a thought. He was willing to chair that. I don't know who I would shoot that at. I guess, Ron, we always pick on you the most. So, but say just something to maybe lower our maintenance costs on some of these things. And the final thing I'd like to bring up was my mailbox the other day. These are city tax bills. I got 6 of them. They're all the same address. Some have my name, some have another. But anyways, they're all my address. And the funny part is I'm missing one. I should have got 6. I just wondered if there's any way that we can possibly reduce some of our mailing costs. I talked to a property owner in Port Colborne here. He got 13 of them to his one address. 13 envelopes, 13 stamps. I just wonder if maybe there's a way. I know Mr. Howell questioned me on that a couple years ago. I just wonder what maybe if you know the answer to that one.
Mr. Howell?
Your worship, under the assessment roll, might be the same person. In the assessment roll, the law requires the treasurer to issue a tax bill for every roll number. Yes, it's the same person. We know it's the same person, but legally it's not. The treasurer must issue a bill to each property. For convenience, we can put them together. Yes, it's a waste of money. Hopefully in the not too distant future, we can look at email, e-billing, right? Right now, you have to get those. If we can put them together, if you want to send us a note and tell us, we can try and pull them together as they're printing. It's a lot of work to try, because it takes time in here also to sort through them to find them. We can try and do that. We can set you up as a special number, so it'll print them all together and we can mail them out to you. That can happen, but we will need direction from you to do that.
Thank you. Councillor?
It's all about saving that stamp and saving that envelope, and we're always looking to cut costs and do a better job, and I thought that was one way to do it, and that's why I brought it to your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Desmarais? Oh, before I go to Councillor Desmarais, Peter, do you want to say something?
Yeah, just to add to Mr. Heil, we, and Councillor Danch's request, we do on a number of our larger customers where we have had conversations with them and they've given us the written authority to consolidate their billings, and we can code them so they come out all at the same time. But for the most part, all of our runs are based on roll number order, so we can't really sort them out. But we can, if we know what they are, what the properties are, then we can code them properly so they do come off in at the same time, and then we have mailed them out as a group. So we'd be glad to, if we get those, we can do that.
Thank you, Councillor. Thank you, Mr. Sinez. Councillor Desmarais?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have 2 items for consideration tonight. Both go to Mr. Hanson. Ron, first, Ramey Avenue and drainage issues. I know I've come to you in the past at least 3 times with problems there, and each time they've been looked after, but we continually get reports on it. I have another complaint again, and this person has had this had attention brought to this issue, I think 4 or 5 times in the past. So obviously there's a drainage issue on Ramey, and I'd like to find out what it is and what we could do to fix it long term, so we wouldn't have to continually go back and fix ponding and that sort of thing. It shouldn't really be happening. So can you address that now so I can tell the residents, or maybe in an email later?
Thank you, Councillor. Mr. Hanson?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, to Councillor Desmarais. Perhaps if you can just give me an email on the specifics, the areas and so on. I know there's been a couple areas just north of Main Street where there's been some water ponding issues, and we've addressed that with some shoulder grading and some new asphalt in places. If there's any new specifics on an area, we'd be happy to take a look at and address it. Perhaps we can address that with the grading that we've done in the past in that area. So just more details on it would be helpful.
Okay, thanks, Ron. Yeah, it's an address that you've been to before, but I'll send that to you again. It's just that it's a recurring problem. I'd like to see us do something that would permanently fix it if possible. The other issue I wanted to bring to your attention was a letter that I know you have a copy of. It's from Larry Rosnick about the statues that he's going to be putting in front of his residence that requires the trees to be cut. He would just like a date to see when that's going to happen.
Mr. Hanson?
Through Mr. Mayor, we've had contact with Mr. Rosnick just last week. The roads foreman will be talking to him. 2 of the trees that he was going to use for the basis for those artifacts or creations that are going to be installed, those have been cut down. So we arranged a meeting between the roads foreman and Mr. Rosnick to take a look at the area and get the specifics on on where these are going to go. So we'll coordinate with Mr. Rosnick and make sure that work gets done.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Mr. Howe?
Your Worship, I may be speaking out of turn. I understand there may be one of these it's a live and healthy tree. That won't be cut. It will come back to council. Further action if that's the case.
Okay, thank you. Members of council, any further new business? Councillor Butters?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On behalf of the Port Colborne Feline Initiative, I want to welcome or invite all of you to join us for Cocktails for Kitties. It's going to be held at Roselawn. It is this Friday coming up, June 13th. There are tickets available at Harmony on West. It's going to be really good food, and we've got some really amazing silent auction items donated. Tarot card readers are always a big hit, and the music is fine, so I hope that all of you here in the gallery and out there in COGECO land will go get your tickets at Harmony and join us on Friday night at 7 o'clock, because it's going to be like way too much fun. Help support our spay-neuter programs. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Barbara. Members of council, any further new business or councillors' items? With none, we'll now move on to the staff reports. Any staff reports? Any updates, guys? Bob, any updates? You good?
Your Worship, in respect of capital, I recently sent you some information. You and I need to meet and to pick a date so that you can deal with the capital prioritization of all of the capital. It's going to be subject to a new council. It may change next year, but at least you'll review it and provide some recommendation to the new council.
Great, thank you. Members, no further new business, councillors' items. Everybody's good. Okay, we'll now move on to the adoption of the minutes. We do have the minutes of the 14th meeting regular of Committee of the Whole, dated May 26th, 2014. Mover and seconder, please. Councillor Kenny, Councillor Doucette. Questions or comments? All those in favor? Opposed? That will be carried. We'll now move on to items requiring separate discussion. We'll start off with item 1. Councillor Elliott.
Thank you, Mayor. Get back. I'll just read the recommendation that report 2014-19 of the Engineering and Operations Department, Operations Division, dated June 9th, 2014, entitled Energy Conservation and Demand Management Plan be received, and that the Council of the City of Port Colborne approves the Energy Conservation and Demand Management Plan 2014 to 2019, and that Council directs staff to publish, make available to the public, and implement the city's Energy Conservation and Demand Management Plan in accordance with Ontario Reg 397/11, and we will have a presentation by Darlene Suttard, our Environmental Compliance Supervisor.
Thank you, Councillor Elliott. If I can have a seconder to that recommendation, please. Councillor Desmarais. And with that, Darlene, as always, welcome.
Great, thank you. Nice to be here. The reason I'm here tonight is, as Councillor Elliott said, is to talk about our Energy Conservation Demand Management Plan. So a little bit of background. Under the Green Energy Act, we are required to do a number of things. Well, actually, sorry, the regulation was passed under the Green Energy Act, which requires us to do a number of things. And beginning in 2013, you may have remembered that last year a report came forward to Council that detailed all of the electrical consumption, gas consumption, and greenhouse gas emissions for all of the city facilities that we heat and or cool. So the second part of that, so that was our 2011 data that was reported on for 2013. The 2012 data is coming forward to the next meeting. My summer student is working away at verifying the information for us at this point. So once that's all complete, we'll have it to the next meeting. And we're also required to create and implement a energy conservation and demand management plan, which is why I am here this evening to tell you what is in the plan in the hopes that you will endorse it for us. So the plan provides overall guidance for establishing energy management practices, promoting energy conservation, and integrating all these measures into all aspects of the city's operations. It also is going to help us to reduce energy consumption and increase energy efficiency, which will ultimately reduce the environmental, social, and economic impacts of the city's energy consumption. The plan is not static. It's going to evolve. It is very high level at this point because it is our first plan. So as we move forward with implementing the goals and objectives in the plan, we will be able to tighten it up and get some more measurables in place. So here's the general framework of the plan. Basically, we are looking for a commitment today. So we are going to have our commitment, the vision statement, and we have the Energy Conservation Committee. We have to understand exactly where we are now. So we need to know what our current electrical consumption is and gas consumption, what our current energy management practices are, and what we've done so far for energy conservation initiatives. And then we have the actual plan. We have some goals, we have some objectives, and how we're going to measure them. Once we actually get the plan in place, then we're going to start the implementation phase. So we're going to have a 5-year plan to implement, and then we're going to continue to evaluate it, and then as we move forward, we'll refine the plan. So the vision statement that staff and the Energy Conservation Committee came up with was this. The vision statement is to carry out the strategic and proactive pursuit of responsible energy management in order to contribute to the environmental, economic, and social well-being of the residents, businesses, and visitors of the City of Port Colborne. Supporting that vision statement are commitments. And in our commitments, we say that the City of Port Colborne aims to lead the community by example and therefore commits to the following. Allocation of the resources necessary to develop and implement a strategic energy management plan aimed at reducing our energy consumption and its related environmental impact. Promotion of responsible energy management throughout the city, implementing economically viable energy conservation projects and renewable energy initiatives where possible. Compliance with legislated environmental requirements and standards, and continual improvement of the plan and its projects and initiatives. So the Energy Conservation Committee is actually a key part to the plan and moving it forward. You'll see from the chart here we have representation from all the major facilities in the city, not necessarily just the departments. The committee felt when we first started that we needed to bring in people from all of the representation from all the facilities so that when we made decisions on how we were going to move forward, the people with in charge of the larger facilities could tell us if it was doable or not, or how they could approach it in their facility. I've been designated as the champion of the energy management plan, so my role is to make sure that we stay on track and to ensure that I come to council and tell you how we are going to move forward with the plan. We do meet regularly to discuss our energy-related issues, and we will, of course, implement the goals and objectives of the plan. So to know where we are now, I had a Niagara College student with me this past winter who very, very grateful to her help. She actually created the charts we see here to illustrate our current energy states. Natural gas consumption is on the left with electrical consumption on the right. And she grouped each of our buildings into groups. So you'll notice that the recreation facilities, which in 2012, because this is our last baseline data that we have, the most current, make up the largest proportion of the electrical consumption and the gas consumption. For electrical consumption, City Hall actually has the second highest proportion of electrical consumption in the city, but surprisingly enough, it's the museum facilities that have the or cultural facilities that have the second highest in our gas consumption. So doing audits of the facilities is going to help us identify why this is happening and what we can do to try and address those little pieces of the pie, and we're never, of course, going to change exactly what it is because we have several facilities, but we can maybe get the amount for each down a little bit lower. So some of the initiatives that we've done so far, which are the feel-good things we've done, which is we've done lighting retrofits at 12 different facilities. We took advantage of the Save on Energy grants. Jennifer from the library was extremely happy. We did all of her lighting in January of 2013, and 2012, and we saw a 22% reduction in the amount of electrical consumption at the library alone. And that was the only thing they changed, was just the lighting. So she was extremely happy with that result, and that's definitely one of our big success stories. The energy grants were $1,500 per facility, so some of our smaller facilities were actually done for free, like some of our bathroom facilities and that were done for free because the retrofit was less than that. So that's definitely a good thing to take advantage of the grants. We did some HVAC upgrades at City Hall. We upgraded the systems here in 2012. We had heating sensor upgrades at the fire hall. The fire chief noticed not long after the committee was formed that when the doors would open up, when the fire trucks would leave, the heat would still run, even in the winter. So he undertook, he had somebody come in and he actually had some sensors put in, so when the doors roll up in the winter, the heat shuts off. So that was definitely an energy savings initiative there as well. We have our BAS, or Building Automation System, at the Valet Center, and the fire chief also reduces outdoor lighting at the fire hall. He went out one night and realized, I don't need quite as many lights on, so he actually has turned off some of the lights outside to help reduce energy as well. So we are, even though we haven't been required to do energy conservation, we've definitely been going down that road and trying to save where we can. So some of the goals. These are the 4 main goals for the plan. To provide the leadership necessary to promote a culture of energy conservation throughout city facilities, reduce our energy consumption and greenhouse gas emissions through energy conservation and management, continuously improve the energy efficiency of city facilities and processes, and seek opportunities to utilize renewable energy sources where feasible and practical. So now I'm going to go through all the objectives one by one. I apologize if it's a little dry, but this is the best way to go through and kind of let you know what the committee has come up with and what we've drafted up. So we've grouped our objectives together. These are the energy plan management objectives. So as I mentioned, we have an energy conservation committee, and we do want to continue to meet, and we'd like to actually meet quarterly. And that's so that the committee itself can monitor energy consumption and carry out the goals of the plan so that we can move forward and help us conserve energy. Our energy supply management goals, I have 2 here. We want to strengthen our partnerships with local utility distribution companies. Contact our electricity and natural gas distributors to develop possible energy conservation measures, and maybe investigate P3 options and work with the LDCs to research funding opportunities. We do have a good relationship with our electrical provider. That's how we became aware of the Save on Energy grant. We really haven't reached out to our natural gas provider yet, so there is a potential that there are some more grants available there that we aren't aware of that we could take advantage of. Also, we want to investigate the opportunity to create a revolving fund based on energy cost avoidances to be reinvested in energy initiatives. So my understanding of how this functions is if you were to save, like for instance, the library had a 22% reduction in electricity, you would take the money that they had saved and put it into a pot, so to speak, and then keep putting into that pot, and that pot of money would be used for energy initiatives at other facilities in the city. So something to investigate. We don't know if this is something that's viable. They definitely involve talking to Peter to see how that would work. I'm not even sure. But something to investigate moving forward. With facility energy management, this is definitely our biggest objectives, biggest group of objectives that we have because we have a lot of facilities. So we definitely need to enhance our understanding of facility energy use. We are moving towards that by having students conduct energy audits for us. I've been very fortunate to have students from Niagara College, Brock University, and summer students help perform audits on, we've completed 4 facilities to date: the City Hall, the library, the Fire Hall, and Rose Lawn. And my summer student is currently working on the museum and is going to the marina next. So once we have a very good understanding of what we're actually using and where, we'll be able to set goals on how we want to conserve. Another objective under here is to perhaps bring in a professional auditor, because the students, while they have been fantastic and have produced very professional reports for us, they of course don't have the expertise to talk about HVAC systems or, you know, building envelope improvements. So it's definitely something to consider in future. And then our equipment inventory. Now we do have our PSAB inventory, which I haven't talked to Peter about yet either, but we can probably use that to find out what we have that consumes energy in the city, and how old it is, and whether it is Energy Star rated or not. So once we have a list, I'm going to talk about this as I move on, but once we have a list in place, when grants come forward, then we'll know what we have, and if we have something coming up for renewal soon, and we'd be able to hop on any grants. Kind of that shovel-ready term we use for engineering projects. Same idea. For more facility energy management objectives, establishing a rigorous building management and maintenance practices. Currently we have a lot of facilities, and like a lot of other things, there's not a formalized process in place at this point. So we're saying if we can develop a maintenance optimization plan for each of our facilities, that would help us increase the energy efficiency of our equipment. And also by creating walkthrough maintenance checklists and conducting semi-annual inspections. Again, these are objectives, ideas to throw out. We'll see how we do as the 5 years progresses. And of course, building envelope improvements. Same idea as the equipment list. If we have an idea of what kind of envelope improvements we could do, like weather stripping, caulking, again, when funds become available or grants become available, if we have a list of projects, we'll know where we can get the biggest bang for our buck. And similar with the energy retrofits and upgrades, a comprehensive list of possible upgrades or retrofits for each facility. And when it's financially or practically feasible, we could go in and do the upgrades and to help us save some energy as well. One of the things that we understand are considering is upgrading our city streetlights to more energy efficient models. We weren't required under the reporting to report on streetlights. We're only required to report on facilities we heat and or cool. However, we were encouraged that if you were going to be replacing your streetlights or upgrading them, that you should include that information. So my student is working on perhaps incorporating that into 2012, or at least getting, I know we have some numbers already, and then we'll be able to make a comparison when the exchange actually happens. And that will be one of our actual measurable goals that we can have in this plan. And then committing to energy, I went forward one, but anyways, committing to energy efficiency requirements for new construction. I know the Valet Center is LEED certified, and the committee discussed whether that would be something we'd like to do for all future construction in the city. And we decided that perhaps we just say that we would aspire to those goals and decide which ones we would go to, and then if we decide to go for LEED certification, we would. So under organizational integration, we say employee training and awareness is one of our objectives. Like anything, we can't just roll this out without the success of staff. A lot of the research we've done on energy conservation, engineering things where you can just change equipment out or put in light sensors in rooms, only gets you so much conservation. It's changing people's behavior that leads to even more conservation. So by making staff aware of this in an energy training program, then we can help achieve our energy goals as well. And this is where we could perhaps have an annual energy awareness campaign implemented by summer students. And again, I cannot stress how helpful the students have been in this whole energy management process. It's been fantastic. And of course, incorporating energy management policies into senior staff job functions. So again, developing tools for senior staff to use in managing their departments or in their day-to-day operations to help them with thinking energy conservation as well. And then we have our organizational integration, again, is developing an energy communication strategy. How are we going to communicate our energy goals to our staff? How are we going to communicate to the public, to council? We need to establish a communication strategy for that. And then allocating student intern resources to carry out the plan objectives and initiatives. As I've mentioned, I have had a lot of assistance with students. They have gotten the benefit of having hard, fast, this is what they've done in their hands. Actually, one of my student interns thinks it actually helped her get a full-time job, so that's great to pass along. And actually, at a recent seminar I was at, the seminar leader said he couldn't believe that's how we developed our energy conservation in Port Colborne with the plan and with our tracking, is that I do student resources. He just thought that was a fantastic idea. And again, it's been very helpful. So we'd like to continue moving forward with that and using students because it's a very big help. And then we have data. We have lots and lots of data. So we do need to get a procedure for energy record keeping, monitoring, and reporting. So we'd like to have the committee develop the procedure and then coordinate the training of assigned staff. And that falls into our next objective, which is analyzing the energy usage and costs. Currently, my summer student, when they come on board in May, enters all the information into the energy planning tool that we purchased from the LAS. It's an online subscription, which is fantastic. But if we're trying to track how well we're doing, it'd be nice to know sooner than a year later. It'd be nice to know maybe on a quarterly basis. So that's something to maybe investigate what we can do and how we can do it with within the city staff. And then also another thing to maybe investigate is managing load demands and to shift and reduce energy demands during peak periods when possible. Again, it would require taking our data, mapping it, figure out when we are using the most energy, and see if there is an opportunity. It's kind of like the Walmart where you see they've got the light, every other bank of lights off during high peak. It'd be the same idea. Is there something we can do to help shift our load demands? And then we can develop those initiatives. And then procurement. I hear that our procurement policy is up for draft, and we'd like to incorporate energy efficiency requirement in that procurement policy. It could be as simple as saying that we want all new computers to be Energy Star certified or something like that. Just by in considering energy efficiency, that will help us reduce our energy costs as well. And then the final objective that we have is renewable energy. We are required under the regulation to address or consider renewable energy in our plan. So what the committee came up with was developing a renewable energy plan to guide the research and possible implementation of a renewable energy initiatives within the city. So we'd establish a citywide commitment to renewable energy and then monitor the renewable technologies that come out and see what kind of fits for Port Colborne. We'll make sure that it's something that fits with us. So that is our objective, to meet that. So basically the cycle, I've talked about the plan, and the implementation of the plan will definitely allow us for more strategic and centralized monitoring of energy consumption, and the actual monitoring system will be developed during plan implementation. Reports are going to be developed regarding our progress, including our conservation measures, changes in practices, and delivered to council and to staff and to the public. And our legislative reports are already being completed as required. And the plan will be reviewed and evaluated and updated as necessary. As I said, it's not a static document. It's definitely a living document, and we can evolve it as we go. It is very high level. I apologize. It was a lot to take in. Any questions, concerns?
Thank you, Darlene. As always, well done. Well done. Members of council, any questions or comments? No, no, we're good. Great job. Great job. Thank you, Darlene. Members of council, to the recommendation that was moved by Councillor Elliott, are there any questions or comments to the recommendation? With none, Dave, you're all right?
Yeah.
You're good?
Fantastic job by Darlene. I guess one quick question I did have. I saw the kind of the parameters of the committee that you're going to strike. Will you set like a baseline on what the energy consumption is right now, and then have that committee maybe set goals and objectives that they're going to work towards as far as reduction goes? Somebody once told me the more the measure, the better you become. So to let us know, or let the council of the day know where the starting point is and what inroads you've made in conservation. And I guess it's good to see that you're going to meet quarterly to go over it. One question I had is, how often will the committee come to council to report on their findings and how it's going, and to get or allow council to be reactionary to go out and purchase things that may be necessary for conservation?
Thank you, Councillor. Darlene?
Okay, through you, Mr. Mayor. Okay, I'll go to the first one there. Yes, we are in the process of getting our baselines established. The audits are very critical to that, because until we know what is at each facility that's using energy, it's hard to set goals. And honestly, we did struggle with the fact that the plan doesn't really have a lot of measurable goals at this point, but we decided, you know what, we'll work on those. We'll work on those measurables, because until we know exactly what we've got, it's kind of hard to put a you know, say we want to save this much money or this percentage of costs. So once we get a good handle on it, and for the plan, I just have to do a little before I answer your next question. I had a Niagara College student intern who drafted the entire plan for us, and she worked with the committee, and she did a fantastic job, and took the input from the committee. So it's been a very good effort. You know, the students have been fantastic. As far as meeting, we would like to meet quarterly, and I guess we can report back as frequently as you want us. I know Councillor Doucette's on my committee, so perhaps he has a better handle on how frequently, or maybe would gauge the, I'm sorry, Yvonne, I put it right back to you. On how frequently, you know, maybe it depends kind of on, because we're still kind of in the getting going stage at this point. No more than twice a year. Okay. So we will be looking. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, great. Thank you, guys. Darlene, well done. No further questions or comments? All those in favor? Opposed? That will be carried. Thank you. We'll now move on to item 2. Councillor Kenny.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Department of Community and Corporate Services, Community Services Division, report number 2014-10, subject Port Colborne Art Crawl event. One, that the Council of the Corporation of the City of Port Colborne approve the bylaw to close temporarily West Street from the southern limit of Clarence Street to the northern limit of Charlotte, as well as 3 parking stalls on the south side of Charlotte, directly in front of the British Bakery, for the purpose of controlling traffic for the 4th annual art crawl by prohibiting general vehicle traffic and parking by the public beginning at 5 p.m. on Saturday, June 21st, and ending at 10 p.m. on Saturday, June 21st. 2, that in the event of emergency services, an exemption to the road closure applies to ambulance, police, and fire department vehicles, including public works and public utility vehicles, or otherwise authorized by permit beginning at 5 p.m. on Saturday, June 21st, and ending at 10 p.m. on Saturday, June 21st. The staff, 3, that staff support the Port Colborne Art Crawl with the 4th annual festival and event in accordance with city policy. 4, that the site plan is to be provided for review indicating the following: emergency access, display locations, and the type and location of any food vendors. And 5, that the city clerk be directed to process the appropriate bylaws for council approval. And I believe, Your Worship, that we have 2 delegates here in the gallery, Chris Summerhays and Gail Todd, who are members of the Art Crawl Committee, and they'd like to speak to the above report.
Thank you, Councillor. Do I have a seconder to that, please? Councillor Danch, and I'm going to go right to the delegation. No strangers to the council chamber, I'm sure. We have Chris, and we have, I see Gail back there, and Putzi. Come on up, guys. Are you guys going to lay me on the sidewalk this year and do the thing around me? That tradition? Guys,
well,
welcome.
I think that's enough said. Really. That's,
welcome, guys.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Council. Thank you for allowing us a few minutes to talk about the art crawl tonight. My name is Chris Summerhays. These are my colleagues, Gail Todd and Elizabeth Putzi Medronich. Thank you. Due to the popularity of this of our event, we're finding that we're getting more and more people downtown. We'd like to expand our event. Excuse me while my audiovisual team gets into We don't have the high-class stuff here like you guys do.
You can always just put it right in front of the lens.
We're just a bunch of artists. That's all we are. Anyway, we have some concerns about safety, as well as we'd like to expand. We have more and more artists joining us since it first started. So very quickly, and again, very briefly, I'm going to talk about how we started, which was in 2011 with this fabulous little brochure, the Arts and Culture Map. And this was launched in October 2011. It was a great launch. And at the end of the launch, a group of the artists got together and decided they wanted to kind of continue the momentum. So they decided to approach some of the businesses downtown. And that's how we started. We put some art in their windows. We had a few people come out. You know, we thought maybe the first year we might have had in the hundreds of people come out. But we got pumped. We thought this was a good event. It looked like people were interested. So as all things that happen, we formed a committee. And there are now a group of us, probably 7 or 8 of us on the committee, and there's lots of things for us to do. We have to get more artists. We have to figure out, you know, if we're going to have music, how we're going to do our displays, how we're going to do things for people to interact with. And so we had more things to take on. Sorry, I'm just, I have notes from a number of people here tonight. I'm sorry, and I have a little trouble seeing tonight. So, so we wanted to do a lot of things that were interactive to get people to participate in what we do. And to that end, each artist tries to do something to bring people in, to show them how to do something that's artsy, try to do the whole art experience. So we have some things that we'd like to share with you that are part of our art experience. That's your cue.
Our cue.
That's it.
May we approach?
Yes, sir. Okay, you approach the bench.
Approach the bench, yes. This is a partnership of the businesses, Downtown Business Association, and local artists. As of today, we have 55 artists that are registered and ready to participate. We are a committee of the Downtown Business Association. And as such, we were covered under their insurance, so that part was a big concern for us. We have spoken to the businesses downtown. Almost 50 have responded to us, and they've said that they do as well or better on this evening as they do during Canal Days. So it's quite a big event for the businesses and for the artists as well, for us to get downtown and to have more people see what we do. So our next, our fourth art crawl is coming up a week Saturday on June 21st. And each time that we run this event, we seem to get more and more people. So as I said, we started out with hundreds. The second year, we probably got to 1,000. Last year, we had a couple of thousand. And we're anticipating this year that we're going to get a few thousand. And we all know Port Colborne, the downtown streets in Port Colborne. We're a little concerned that people walking back and forth, stepping off onto the road, maybe not paying too much attention. So we'd like to open up the West Street area so that they can walk freely down there. Now, that's not to say that we're going to ignore the rest of King Street and Clarence Street. We'll have signs directing people around, and we'll have things in those windows as well. But we'd kind of like to open it up a little bit so we've got a little more elbow room to move. Oh, yeah, we did say that we would have signs to show people, but we try not to be too exacting on what's going on, because that's kind of the fun. You go downtown, you never know what you're going to find if you go around this corner or go around that corner. So we hope that you're going to agree with us that we need to close the street, that we need to expand this great initiative that we've got. And that's all I have to say. I'll take any questions.
Great, well done, Chris, well done.
Thank you.
And to the, who's the thorn in between here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, in all seriousness, guys, great job, great job. Members of council, any questions or comments? Councillor Doucette?
Just a question. With how, at least my wife anyway, is getting more and more into the quilt building and other types of material that she works with, and that's extremely artistic. I've seen some of them where they've come out and they're fantastic. Is that part going to be part, if not part of yet, is that going to become part of the whole process?
We, as I said, we have 55 artists as of today, mostly from Port Colborne, Waynfleet area, but some from around the region. And if someone approaches us and wants to be part of it, and that's their art, yeah, we're not going to turn them away.
Can I just add to that?
Yeah.
We really welcome.
Pussy, if you just come up here. No problem.
We would really welcome that. It would, anything we can add to broaden the arts would be fantastic.
Great. We're looking at all kinds of arts, so yeah.
Good. Further questions, comments, members of council, staff? We're all good? No? Pardon me? Well, I'm going to get to that next. Perfect segue. No further questions or comments? Folks, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time this evening. Members of council, to the main motion. Main motion, any questions or comments to the motion? The only comment I have is I have to congratulate you folks. And I'm actually going to skip the next one that is going to be lifted, number 3, and get back to it and go straight to the classic cars downtown. Because I think it's a great message to send out that all is being represented. You know, we have the kids out here tonight. I keep calling them kids. I shouldn't do that. The young adults. They're actually young adults now here tonight with sport, with academics, with skill trades. We had some friends from Georgia come down, and it just bodes well for the youth. But what it really speaks to is the diversity that we have here in the community. And now we hear from the culture community with respect to bringing people downtown during the art crawl. And we're going to hear from the downtown cruisers, once again, bringing people from downtown. We're not a community that sits there and waits for something to fall out of the sky into our laps. We're actually going out and getting it. And you folks are going to be given credit for that. So job well done. And I thank you for that. Members of council, any further questions or comments? With none, all those in favor? Opposed? That will be carried. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Great job.
It's approved.
That means yes. You're good. Gail, I keep telling you guys, we don't bite.
You know that.
Yeah, you actually worked in my office for how long? A year? Yeah, yeah.
Does she ever?
Do I have enough money in my budget to bring her back?
No.
Thanks, Gail. So with that, and that's been passed, you guys are good? You guys are good to go. I'm gonna skip and fast forward to number 5. And I'll allow Councillor Elliott to put that on the floor. Councillor Elliott?
Thank you, Mayor.
Good luck reading that.
Yeah, I'll
Nobody get a pillow.
I'll apologize in advance. Now I've kind of made it big and I can't.
That's what
Yeah.
happened, recommendation.
Yep. Leave it to me to mess it up. I'll take a deep breath. Everybody get comfortable. This will take a little while. Item number 5.
Lock it in place.
That the City Council authorize the request made by the Port Colborne Downtown Cruisers Association for the temporary closure of Clarence Street from the western limit of West Street at Clarence Street intersection through to the eastern limit of Catherine Street at Clarence Street intersection, prohibiting general motor vehicle traffic and parking by the public between the hours of 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. with the exemption of A, allowing registered cruise night car participants to angle park along Clarence Street through to Catherine Street as directed by the Port Colborne Downtown Cruisers Association members and qualified volunteers. B, allowing westbound bridge traffic at Clarence Street to turn left or right only on West Street and installing the appropriate barricades at the western limit of West Street at Clarence Street intersection. C, allowing the north and south traffic flow at King Street and Clarence Street intersection to flow through as regulated by the traffic signal with no left or right turn and installing the appropriate barricades at the eastern and western limits of King Street at Clarence Street intersection. D, allowing the north and south traffic flow at Catherine Street and Clarence Street intersection to flow through as regulated by the stop sign and installing the appropriate barricades at the eastern limit of Catherine Street at Clarence Street intersection. E, provided all requirements of emergency service vehicles are met and those vehicles authorized by permit only from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. on recurring Thursdays starting June 12, 2014 through to September 18, 2014. And F, that traffic barricades are to be supplied by Public Works staff every Thursday starting June 12, 2014 to September 18, 2014, and dropped off before the end of the workday, 3 p.m. at a predetermined location at each intersection requiring barricades. That the volunteer corps serving the Port Colborne Downtown Cruisers Association shall install these barricades with adequate signs at each intersection. Cruise night Clarence Street temporarily closed, insert hours of operation here, for the duration of the event, and make certain that these barricades are also removed and returned to the pickup points at the end of the cruise night event each week. This authorization provides for the safe staging and movement for the participants and optimizing pedestrian safety. G, the appropriate insurance requirements be met by the organizers. That City Council authorize the attached road closure and parking restriction bylaw be authorized for the cruise nights every Thursday starting June 12, 2014 to September 18, 2014.
Great, thank you, Councillor Elliott, well done. Do we have a seconder to that, please? Councillor Doucette, questions or comments to that? With none, Tony, did you want to come on up and make some comments? Okay, good. No, Tony, go ahead. We'll get you up here first, and you can give us a little briefing on what your initiative is.
Well, a couple of things I wanted to say real quick is thank you very much. Only in our great city can you get an idea like this, grab 4 local folks. Week 1, make bets that you'll have about 20 cars show up, have 65 cars show up, and have Councillor Damaris say, you better do something about this. Week 2, have 110 cars show up, have Councillor Doucette and Councillor Damaris, and continuing to have Councillor Elliott say, this is going to be huge. And go to week 3 and have Councillor Elliott, Councillor Damaris, Councillor Doucette, Councillor Elliott, and the Mayor, Bob Heil, Harry Hakeem, all say, we need to get this on the agenda immediately and have 150 cars show up in downtown Port Colborne. So congratulations to our little city that could. It has moved very, very quickly for us. I believe everybody that I've talked to in the downtown core has said it has been accretive to their business. By the fact that we've got 3,600 Facebook followers in 4 weeks, that tells me that there's support within the community. And in fact, I was rude there in one of the presentations checking on Facebook as people are asking for updates from the city council meeting to say, what's the vote look like? Are we going to be able to angle park and will the streets be closed? So anyway, that's my really quick update. I did take a really quick look, thanks to Harry for giving me an update on what the council report was going to look like and what some of the needs and wants would be. We're doing everything we can to meet those objectives here fairly quickly. And we're looking forward to hopefully sun and a real safe cruise night this coming Thursday. So I stand other than to say thank you and to take any questions you may have.
Great, thank you, Tony. Members of council, any questions or comments to the presenter? Councillor Demeray?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to say thank you, Tony, to you and the rest of the cruisers for all that you're doing. I think the merchants in downtown Port Colborne have got to be so happy between having a car show on a weekly basis, the market, canal days, and an art crawl. You're bringing the people to their doors. They can do the rest and do very well as a result. This is just really great, and it just shows how a city can work together. So thank you.
Thank you, Ange. Councillor Kenny?
Thank you. For those out in COGECO land, if you have not been to the city of Port Colborne on Thursday night, that's your spot to be. I had the opportunity when our medical students were here to bring them down Clarence Street. We parked in the municipal parking lot. I said, you're going to walk a bit, but you're going to enjoy this walk. And they loved it. It was a great time for all of us. We ate at a local restaurant, who again, that's one of the reasons that brings people downtown, and that's what you want to do. We had a great time. And after we ate, we went and looked again. So thank you for organizing that, anyone who was involved organizing it. But out in COGECO land, remember, Thursday night, that's the place to be, City of Port Colborne.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Doucette?
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Yes. You count the votes, by the way, Tony?
I'm actually looking to hire B at Pinty's, but that's a different story.
I echo their feelings. Thank you very much, Tony, for setting this up. Only thing I can say is that if anyone out in COGECO land comes here, what you have to understand is we are the only city, center of our city is going to be your cruise night. Anywhere else, I know in Welland, I believe they did it at the Seaway Mall. In other places, they did it in large malls. This is the center of our city. This is our main street. And you are going to be sitting on Main Street, walking down, seeing all these beautiful cars. I took my little son with me the one night.
Your little son?
Yeah, the one that's 6'10",
Yeah.
350. Yeah, that one there. Anyway, he enjoyed it, and he couldn't believe the vehicles that were there because he's into quite a bit of that. He watches this stuff on TV all the time, and he could not believe it. He's now looking forward to bringing buddies with him. And the more buddies, you know, everyone's going to be bringing more buddies. And before you know it, the place is going to be so full, we have no choice but to do this. It has to be done. And it'll be fantastic, and it's a fantastic experience. I felt that it was an experience in itself that probably hasn't happened in the Niagara Peninsula in a long time because it's in the center of the town. That's the whole issue here. And that's what makes it different from others. That's very important.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Elliott?
Thank you, Mayor. I don't know, I'm on the fence on which way I'm going to vote on this. I'm not sure. I think it was pretty obvious by the first night what it was and how it was trending and what we were going to need to do. And you know, kudos to Tony and his gang for setting this up because it's really good. Harry, awesome report, and Harry's been down every night, every Thursday night to support it, and to have the report written as quickly as it was. You know what? A huge thanks from all the guys with the cars. There was some concern with safety right off the hop from the first night. So to have this report this quickly and supporting them, you know, thanks very much. It needs to be done. So. I think the mayor can testify. Last Thursday night he was there. He really couldn't walk 10 feet without getting stopped. I know you must have said 15 or 20 times you were on your way to somewhere else. I don't know if you ever made it. But it really is great. I couldn't help but have a big grin on my face. I'm standing at the corner of King Street and Clarence and looking towards the bridge and thinking, look at all these cars, all these people. the bridge is going up and a boat's going under. And it's like, you know what, take a photo of that. You can't get that anywhere else in the world, I'll imagine. So it's really, really good. I'm assuming that the downtown cruisers may be back to cordon off maybe a little other section in the market at maybe some time, because there's a couple of events that are coming up that may draw huge. I know Tony's talked to a couple other clubs that want to come to town. So the only other thing I can say is to Gail and Putzi and Chris and all the other groups that were here. It's people like you that live in our community that put on events like this, that draw people to town, that while we may not be the biggest municipality in the region, we probably have more going on here than a lot of other places. And it's successful because of people like you that take it upon yourself to put something together that starts off real small and grows into something where you have to close off roads. You know, congratulations to all of you, with the kids that were here and the young adults that were here as well, just representative of the whole city. You know, it's a Celebrate Port Colborne night because of the things that we got going on. So all I got to do is say is congratulations to all of you. You've done really, really well.
Thank you, Councillor Elliott. Well stated. Well stated. Members of council, further comments or questions? Just finally, Tony, and I don't have to repeat all that's been said. You know how I feel. Great job. Great work. And, you know, the leadership that you've shown, Gail, Putzi, you know, all of you guys, there's no question. Chris, I forgot your name there for a second, so excuse me. But I just got it back. George? But for the most part, it's there's no question that, as Councillor Elliott stated, you know, it's folks like you guys that actually care. You know, we have a jewel downtown. We've all known that for many years. And at the end of the day, not everyone knows it from across the region or beyond. You guys are actually opening up the door that much wider to get them in that front door, and so that they notice not just the car show or the art crawl, but also the shops that we have there. We have, you know, Gail, your place, and Tony, your place, or I should say, excuse me, Claudia's place. So, and just a plug, we have Italy, and we have something else. You're welcome. So I have to give you guys a plug because you deserve it. But it is, in fact, not only what you're putting on directly, the obvious in terms of the car show and the art crawl, but of course it's highlighting all the special, unique gift shops that we have in our downtown. That is very unique. And not just Port Colborne, but Niagara should be proud of that. Because let's face it, there's only a few of those areas in Niagara that we have. Port Colborne, Niagara-on-the-Lake, Jordan, and I'm sorry if I miss any, but those are the three main ones that I hear often. And to add to that overall dynamic of Niagara, good on you guys. You know, good on you guys for doing that and really introducing a lot of people to that jewel in here in the Niagara region, which we call our Port Colborne downtown. So good on you. Well done. Thank you. Barbara.
I wonder if Port Dover and the motorcycle thing started off like this. Maybe Port Colborne be like the cruise capital, like Port Dover is for motorcycles. We're going to be like, woohoo!
Tony and I actually had a discussion about Friday the 13th. People can go down. I think I heard Tony say port to port. You know, we have Port Dover with the bikes on July 13th, or I should say Friday the 13th. Port Colborne can now be the car destination for Friday the 13th. But someone also came out, somebody, and the boats, yes. But somebody, I forget who it was, and I can't take credit for this, or somebody else. Harry, we were talking to somebody. Maybe it was Gino Spada. And he came out with the idea of the day after Friday the 13th. Because although the bikes like going to Port Dover on Friday the 13th, they like to cruise too. And instead of going home on the 13th, they might want to stay over in wherever and then show up here the day after on the Saturday here in Port Colborne. So port to port. So, you know, the key here is that everyone's thinking. And the key is to bring people into the community on not only a once, twice a week basis, but hopefully every day. So good job, you guys. Well done. Great job. So with that, members of council, any further questions or comments? All those in favor? Opposed? That will be carried unanimously for both reports. Great job, guys. Well done. Oh, by the way, Tony, you can get Gavrilic off my back now. We'll now move on to item 3, Councillor Desmarais.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Department of Community and Corporate Services, Community Services Division, Report Number 2014-12. Subject, creation of a Port Colborne Cultural Strategic Plan and establishment of the City of Port Colborne Culture Committee. 1, that the City Council supports appointing a group of citizen advisors for arts and culture led by an accredited arts and culture consultant, and requests that they assess the state of arts and culture in the City of Port Colborne and then formulate a cultural strategic plan that would provide City Council with guidance in making decisions that affect the investment of city resources, funding, human resources, facilities, etc. And that recognizing these funds may be insufficient to secure a qualified consultant, that Council, by endorsing Friends of Roselawn grant application, not only strengthens it, provides a viable partnership, and in so doing, Council also commits to leveraging these financial resources with the potential to accelerate the development of the cultural strategic plan and subsequent recommendations. And that Council directs staff to prepare an RFP that would include an outline of the cultural strategic plan and a terms of reference.
Thank you, Councillor. Do I have a seconder to that, please? Councillor Butters. Questions or comments to that? Councillor Desmarais.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I lifted this because there's quite a bit of talk out in the public about us spending a great number of dollars on a consultant. And when this, the whole idea of putting a cultural plan together came about, and I was the one who raised it with council, the idea was to create a committee that would sit down and choose from other surrounding communities their culture plans and sort of piecemeal something together or cobble something together that would work here in Port Colborne. Now, I do understand, after speaking with Harry about some of the details here, that copyright laws being what they are, we're not able to just borrow from other plans, which is why we're looking at paying for a consultant. I still am of the opinion that we may be able to do this without that consultant, but it would require a lot of resources from staff and from our committee members, whoever they're going to be. So possibly the consultant is the way to go. I will support this because I feel that we do have to have this plan. And I'm hoping that we will be very, very careful and make sure that we keep the costs down just as low as possible.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Butters.
I would also just put out there to our staff and to council, as far as that goes, that there may be certain resources under the cultural committee at the region. And so to get a hold of Marion Bannerman, because she has access to just so much information that I think would be really helpful going forward in our process.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I want to support this because I believe that there are little holes that we have here in Port Colborne that don't allow for certain individuals that maybe could continue to flourish. And what I mean by that is that we've got all the sports stuff. We've got Valet for Health. We've got, and on the cultural side, we don't have a plan that we can put together. And I think this fills that and allows us to have a complete plan for Port Colborne. And this would give us that plan that we need. So.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Bodner.
Mr. Mayor.
Or you can use Frank.
Is it still doing that? Okay, all right. Maybe, we'll see. Anyways, I'll certainly support this. I think this is, and while it's called an arts and culture plan, you know, this is really an economic development plan too. This is a big deal when you delve into this, and I'm sure this will come out in the plan. This is a generator of jobs and economic development for the city. So it's just a really good thing to have. I think it's been a while coming. We've had bits and pieces of it through the years, and I think we can gather those together and use what we've gained there. And we can the consultant, although, you know, we always say that consultants just tell you what you already know, but, you know, I think they, when we go out there to price, we may be surprised by what we may be able to get. We don't know that yet, but, or who will come forward and offer their services. So I'm looking forward to this going down the road to a successful conclusion, and thank Angie for bringing this forward to council, and there's a lot of people interested in this in the community, so I think this is timely and something we need to move on right away. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor. Further comments or questions, members of council? The only comment I have to make is I think it's proof positive from Chris and Gail and Putsy's presence here tonight, how healthy the arts and culture community in fact is. And I think Yvonne's comments were bang on. It really does strengthen our overall community diversity. And I think that it needs it to bring that balance back in check. And to your efforts, and Chris, I'll never forget your name again. I promise. I promise you. But again, you guys are a testament to those efforts. So good on you, and well done. So members of council, and Ange, you too. I know you've championed this from day one, so good on you too as well. Members of council, with no further comments or questions, all those in favor? Opposed? That will be carried. Thank you. And thank you, guys. Well done. Good job. Okay, we're going to move on to item 9. Councillor Kenny.
Thank you, Your Worship. Region of Niagara Free Intermunicipal Transit Progress Update on Guiding Principles, PW Report 63-2014, that the correspondence received from the Region of Niagara Intermunicipal Transit Progress Update on Guiding Principles, PW Report 63-2014, be received for information purposes.
Thank you, Councillor. I have to admit, guys, I'm just texting my girls right now. I got one girl playing soccer in Hamilton and one girl playing soccer in Colborne, so I'm just wishing them both good luck at the same time. Sorry. Guys, do I have a seconder to that, please? Councillor Bodner, questions or comments to that? I'm going to make one comment, just to keep council and Peter, I know you've been involved in this, or I think you have been, or you will be at least, that, and I don't think it's a surprise to anybody. There's no question both Councillor Barrick and I are and a few others, as a matter of fact, are becoming more aggressive at the regional level to ensure that we move forward with an integrated transit system for the Niagara region. I am deliberately not calling it a regional transit system because it's not a big R regional transit system. The region isn't going to be the big brother, so to speak, and to take over the system. I think Councillor Bonner, being on the Transportation Committee, and I have fully pushed that it's not being promoted as a regional transit system. More so, it's being motivated or pushed as an integrated transit system. And I think that's important for everyone to recognize, especially all those politicos that are from throughout Niagara, and how critical to Niagara's future it is to ensure that happens. You know, you look at the triple bottom line theory. When you look at economic, you look at social, and you look at environmental. This is the way to go. When you look at bringing GO to Niagara, make no mistake about it. Metrolinx, the province, will never bring GO to Niagara until we get an integrated transit system in Niagara. What are people supposed to do when they get off in St. Catharines or Niagara Falls off the GO train? Take a cab to Port Colborne? Take a cab to Fort Erie or Welland or Lincoln or Jordan? We heard a lot today about being a diverse community. The same can be said, or more can be said, with respect to being a diverse region. But how do people move around? Whether they're from Niagara or they're coming into Niagara on a GO train, how do they move around? Well, they move around like they do in other progressive regions throughout the world, not just Canada or Ontario. And that's with an integrated transit system. So the reason why I bring this up tonight is to let council know, or to give you a heads up on the initiatives happening, next steps that are happening. And I think you see that on page 2. And for those folks watching on COGECO, I'll outline those 3 steps that we're going to be taking. We're going to engage the local area municipalities to develop draft guiding principles. Let's do this together as 12 municipalities, and of course working at the regional level to ensure that we integrate especially with the three main providers, that being the Falls, Welland, and St. Catharines, as well as the feeders being Port Colborne and Fort Erie. Let's integrate the system together and work together to achieve that. The second is to conduct a survey to better understand the unique transit needs in each of the 12 municipalities and inform the development of guiding principles. This survey consists of a statistically significant telephone survey as well as an online and in-person surveys. We want to get it right. We want to ensure that the customers are best taken care of based on their needs. And finally, to work with the transit operators to develop an interim extension in the event that this is necessary, which we've already done. So those, no pun intended, but those wheels are turning. And hopefully sooner rather than later, we'll see an integrated regional transit service that can move people around Niagara to all the dynamic destinations that we have in Niagara. But equally as important is that GO becomes year-round, and GO can actually plug in to that system, and vice versa. Our system can plug into GO. So that's where we're at right now. This report articulates that, identifies that, and stay tuned, as well as any input that you may have, by all means, get it in there and pass it on, especially for the people that you represent. Okay? Any comments, Ron, that you want to make? Go ahead. Ron, why don't, that work? It worked. Ron, why don't you use Frank's mic? There you go.
Thanks, Frank.
You're welcome, Ron.
Mr. Mayor, I'd just like to thank you for championing transit at the region. It's, you know, it's developed over the years, but certainly you were behind it before transit was cool, and you know, and I think we can all see the benefits. And we seen it when we even started with Port Cares, when we were getting some of our people to Niagara Falls to jobs at the casino and that. I mean, it's another piece of economic development, and you know, you just can't have some holes in the system. So, and I don't even see that some of the municipalities that aren't going to benefit immediately from transit are against it necessarily. They want some fairness in the system. I think we can make that work too. So it's really just having people that will push it along, keep it going, take it to the next level. And we have those transit operators that are doing a good job, and we don't have to reinvent the wheel, you know, another pun. But, you know, I think that it's there. We just got to massage it, make it work, and have the fortitude to keep moving it ahead. So I look forward to this, again, going ahead, because it's going to be a win for Port Colborne and all the other communities. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bonner. I think the biggest thing we recognize, one of the biggest things in the last week and a half that we recognize for the need of regional transit is when they opened up that factory outlet mall in Niagara-on-the-Lake. Huge, huge. Like we really had to, at the last Public Works meeting at the region, we really had to get on the, I'll use the word, I guess, recustomizing the transit service because of the demand that we were getting, because of the employees that needed to get to work down at the Niagara-on-the-Lake outlet mall. So we really had to do a lot of work at the last minute to really customize that transit route to ensure that everybody was being dealt with to get to work and of course back home. So it just goes to show you the need for the service. So, Peter, go ahead.
Just to add to that, Mr. Mayor, the region has also extended, as you know, expanded the intermunicipal transit for till September of 2015. So there's one more year on the books there in order to keep it going and to find out how things are going to operate and everything. And we are progressing because I'm part of that organ, the transit and all of that. So we have a meeting, I know, this Wednesday that I'll be going to this morning. So it is moving forward in developing the guiding principles. And the survey, the survey was already been out there, and they've received a number of information from different people that they've either talked to on the phone and so on. So we're going to be reviewing that, I believe, on Wednesday also. And so they are moving forward and trying to moving it forward quicker, and including all of the municipalities, all 12 municipalities, not just the three big municipalities that have the transit system, so they're including everybody to get their input and all that. So it is moving forward, and so it'll be interesting Wednesday as to what some of those results have come into place.
Thank you, Peter. Members of council, any further comments or questions? All those in favor? Opposed? That would be carried. Thank you. We'll now move on to the next report, the final report for this evening. Councillor Kenny, item 11.
Thank you, Your Worship. I pull this report at your request. Region of Niagara, Niagara Nodes and Corridor Study, PDS Report 15-2014, that the correspondence received from the Region of Niagara, Niagara Nodes and Corridor Study, PDS Report 15-2014, be received for information.
Thank you, Councillor. Do I have a seconder to that, please? Councillor Bodnar. Mr. Aquilina, I'd like to comment on this report.
Sure, Mr. Mayor. I guess some of the background for this report is important to know why the region partaked in this actual study. The Regional Nodes and Corridors Study was something that followed the initiative, it was an initiative after the region's growth management strategy was completed. And what this study did, and it commenced in 2010. And what the study did was to look at three different features or factors to be looked into. One was to support intensification. The second one was to integrate existing transportation links and transportation corridors and to maximize existing infrastructure. All part of the smart growth initiatives that the region wants to have completed to entice development. What the study did do was, when it was presented to regional council, what the region wanted to actually, the integrated committee wanted to actually expand the study to look at what other municipalities are doing in the adjacent areas, looked at the city of Buffalo, city of Hamilton, Haldimand, Norfolk. And so what Dillon Consultant did then was they looked at all that and they then integrated that in their original study that was completed. So this report that they have sent to the municipalities to inform all the local municipalities of what the region is actually looking into, and that is the basis of the report. There's going to be follow-up policies that are going to be developed and then rolled into the regional policy plan.
Thank you, Mr. Aquilina. And just to add to that, I know, Dave, you were at my mayor's luncheon the other day, and I spoke a bit about this, and how important it is, and I know, and I don't want to be too facetious, but we've been hearing a lot about economic plans for the past few weeks from all three different parties provincially during the election. And the one thing, unfortunately, that I haven't heard yet is the grassroots aspects of economic plans, and that's municipalities dealing with their strengths to then contribute to realistic economic plans. And it's our hope at the regional level, as well as here at the local level, that whatever stripe or whatever color or whatever party gets into office, that they will in fact listen and learn from those that are on the ground. And those are the folks at the municipal level. And when I say municipal, I mean both municipal here in our communities, but as well municipal at the regional level that consists of the 12 communities. And what I mean by that is to take advantage of those strengths. When it comes to the Welland Canal, water, when it comes to road, when it comes to rail, when it comes to our location. But second to that, and before I go back to Dan, is the initiative that we've taken on to discuss and to work together with our neighbors to both the west and the east, working with the state of New York, Western New York in particular, with respect to their initiative when it comes to Continental One, which is a trade corridor from Miami to Buffalo. And then, of course, our intended trade corridor that extends from the Peace Bridge, mid-peninsula, through to the 403, 401. And hence the reason why we're also discussing with those neighbors to the east, which include Windsor, includes Brantford, it includes Sarnia, it includes Hamilton, KW, in those areas, to then create a second trade corridor. The first of which is obvious between Cornwall and Windsor, which is the 401, but to complete the 402 trade corridor from Blue Water to the Peace Bridge. The 402 ends at the 401 right now, but it can continue past the 401 to the 403 into Niagara and to the Peace Bridge to then establish two trade corridors. And hence the reason why we're discussing with our neighbors that initiative. However, it's going to take the province to allow that to happen. We're seeing the leadership come from the municipal level. We're seeing the cooperation come from the municipal level. Now, post-provincial election, regardless of who gets in, it's our expectation that if they want to truly create jobs, we can help them do that by capitalizing on our strengths, not just here in Niagara, but also in Brantford, Sarnia, Windsor, and the whole southwestern economic gateway. And that's what we're in fact trying to do with this report and many of the other reports that we spoke about in the past. Dan?
Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to add, it would be remiss without me mentioning what two areas in the municipality that were identified originally. That corridor included the downtown here, as well as the downtown area on Main Street. Those are the two corridors that were first identified. And what this report also talked about was how do we link the different areas throughout the entire region. And it looked at Highway 3, as you mentioned, Mr. Mayor, Highway 20, and the Netherby Road, and as well as those GO transportation links. So the study was to complete all the review of those and how do you link those and to maximize those different nodes and corridors throughout the entire region.
And by the way, the Netherby Road link is what we're hoping as being the 4-laning between the Peace Bridge and 140 that will connect to QEW, the 406, and of course the over 1,000 acres of new established employment lands that we've created, not only here in Port Colborne, but also, Dan, as we spoke about on COGECO a few weeks ago, as well as those lands in Welland. So it's main to main, essentially creating an industrial corridor along the 140 with canal, rail, road attached to it, and of course an abundant amount of developable lands. So, anyways, members of council, any further questions or comments on this report? Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. You know what, and it's funny you talk about that because the new corridor, Mid-Peninsula to, and everybody calls it to the GTA. They want to link the Mid-Peninsula back up to the QE to dump everybody down into Toronto. And I always ask, well, why don't they run it Mid-Peninsula and take it out to the 403, connect to the 401 to go to Windsor? And I don't understand why you're going to dump everything into Toronto when there's that route that wants to go out west instead of going into downtown GTA into Toronto and the area. And you know, we probably don't agree on a lot of things. That's one of them. I don't understand why that's not being promoted as a southern trade route and bring into production all of the lands south of the 401 and down here on top of the escarpment and, you know, along the Lake Erie shoreline and stuff. I've never understood why nobody's ever talked about that. But that, to me, is the logical route that the highway should run. So it's great that this is being brought up. You know, if anybody would ever listen and say, hey, you know, guys down in the south along Lake Erie, we got to give you some help. Put a highway in along there. I know there may be some environmental concerns, but you know, there's a lot of traffic that just uses the QEW and now up the Red Hill and out the link to the 403. If you put another expressway in down south, you alleviate some of that truck congestion and that traffic that's using the roads that are the infrastructure that's in place right now, and bring some people down south. You know, it can't do anything but help us out to get traffic down here. So, you know, if you're going to champion that at the region and anywhere else, it'd be a great thing to do.
And that's a great point, Dave, you know, and I'll tell you why. Because, and this goes back, and I think members of council will recall this, back in 2001, when the region actually established its transportation strategy, the then regional chair, Debbie Zimmerman, actually delegated to myself to go down and deal with those very issues in the north, or I should call it the mid part of Ontario, from Burlington on up to the north end to the GTA. And I heard firsthand a lot of the frustration, especially in the Halton area. The Mayor McIsaac at the time, who was in Burlington, and others saying, we don't want all this traffic dumped in our backyard here. And we have the 407 being built, we have the 403 coming in here, we have the QEW. And I kept saying to them, that's not our intent. And you're absolutely right, Dave. You know, at the end of the day, our intent was never to champion a mid-pen corridor that would dump traffic into the Burlington and Halton area. It was always to bypass that into the Highway 6 South area. So what the whole intent, but no one would listen. I could never get it. I don't know if the province is trying to, in both parties, not just the Liberals now, but even the Conservatives back then, if they were trying to manipulate the process so they get away with it, not doing it, or what. I didn't get what they were up to, because it was never to have, our intent here in Niagara was never to have a Niagara to GTA corridor. It was always to have a mid-peninsula corridor that ran from the Peace Bridge, mid-peninsula, up by the Monroe Airport, and we were very deliberate and very specific on that, so that we can connect the Monroe Airport to the economic corridor, up to the 403, and as a matter of fact, the dialogue that we're having now, deliberately with KW and Brantford is to actually, and the 402 region, Sarnia, and even on up to London and Windsor, is to actually link through Highway 6 north the 401. So you in fact have a 4-laning corridor, Peace Bridge, Mid-Peninsula, up through the Binbrook area and Monroe Airport, up to the 403, 6 north, towards KW to the 401. Nowhere near Burlington, nowhere near the Holland area over there. So again, hence the reason why we were kind of confused on what they were upset about. It was going nowhere near them. But yet, the government of the day, both past and present, always sort of said, well, no, we want to bring it into the GTA. No, that's not what we're looking for. So again, hence the reason why we have these reports moving forward, and more so how important it is to not only deal with this within this region, but also include Hamilton, Brantford, London, Sarnia, Windsor, etc., to in fact, hopefully they then get it with respect to what we're saying, and making those nodes and corridors and establishing those not just here in Niagara, but outside the borders of Niagara as well. So Dave, that's a great point. It's a great point, because that's our intent, is to bring it out to that area. So with that, with no further comments or questions, all in favor? Opposed? That would be carried. Thank you. Okay, we'll now move on to notices of motion. Are there any notices of motion? No notices of motion. I'll now take a motion to adjourn this portion of tonight's agenda. Councillor Desmarais, Councillor Doucette. All those in favor? Opposed? That would be carried. Thank you, guys. We'll now move on to our council part of our agenda. Madam Clerk, are there any addendum items?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. No, there are no addendum items.
Thank you, Annette. Members of council, I'll need a motion to confirm the agenda, please. Councillor Danch, Councillor Doucette, questions or comments? All those in favor? Opposed? That would be carried. Disclosures of interest. Are there any disclosures of interest? With none, move on to the adoption of the minutes. Excuse me. I do have 2 sets of minutes here. The minutes of the 14th meeting special of council, dated May 26, 2014, and the minutes of the 15th meeting regular of council, dated May 26, 2014. Mover and seconder, please. Councillor Bodner, Councillor Elliott, questions or comments? All those in favor? Opposed? That will be carried. We'll now move on to items requiring a separate discussion. With none, I'll accept the motion to accept all the items on your agenda. Mover and seconder, please. Councillor Desmarais, Councillor Doucette. Questions or comments? All those in favor? Opposed? That will be carried. We'll now move on to the minutes of boards, commissions, and committees. We have 5 sets of minutes here. You guys don't mind if I do it in block? That's fine. I have the minutes of the Canal Days Advisory Committee meeting of April 3rd, 2014. The minutes of the Port Colborne Physician Recruitment, Retention, and Medical Education Committee meeting of January 20th, 2014. The minutes of the Heritage Port Colborne Committee meeting of April 15th, 2014. The minutes of the Environmental Advisory Committee meeting of March 6th, 2014. And finally, the minutes of the Port Colborne Gateway Business Improvement Area BIA Board of Management meeting of April 1st, 2014. Mover and seconder, please. Councillor Elliott. Councillor Kenny. Questions or comments? All those in favor? Opposed? That would be carried. Thank you. Are there any notices of motion? With no notices of motion, we'll move on to the clerk to introduce, and we will consider and pass the bylaws. I hope.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, that the following bylaws be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed. Bylaw number 6093/59/14, being a bylaw to temporarily close a section of West Street to vehicular traffic June 21st, 2014 for purposes of the 4th Annual Art Crawl. Bylaw number 6094/60/14, being a bylaw to temporarily close a section of Clarence Street to vehicular traffic every Thursday from June 12th, 2014 to September 18th, 2014 for purposes of the Port Colborne Downtown Cruisers Association Cruise Nights.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Mover and seconder, please. Councillor Kenny, Councillor Bodner, questions or comments? All those in favor? Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Howe, go ahead.
Just a quick note, Your Worship. The bylaw's going to be closed. There's an insurance matter. We're working with our insurer, and they're working with it. if they don't have their insurance by this Thursday, we won't close the road. It's provisions in the bylaw, but they're going to try to get the insurance. We're trying to work with them right now, and Mr. Hakeem is working with our adjuster, our insured, to try to find some way to get them insurance.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Elliott?
I was talking with the proponent earlier, and I do believe that they have their insurance policy. He had one with him, so I'm sure just dot the i's and cross the t's. That's one of the reasons that I thought he was going to speak, is we would ask him if he had it, and I do believe that he does, so we're all good to go.
Good. Excellent. Members of council, all those in favor? Opposed? That would be carried. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I think we have to pause for a moment here and publicly wish the only reporter in the building. Well, you know we've got to say something publicly, right, Marianne?
It was
I
published
think,
in the paper.
yeah, and that might have been the best article that you've ever written, and it was about yourself. So I'll take it upon myself on behalf of council and staff. Congratulations, and it's nice to know who was putting out those pink hearts, because I, for one, was thinking, who's the crazy person that's just randomly putting these pink hearts around like it didn't make any sense? So congratulations to you and your fiance, and from all of us, all the best to the both of you.
Thank you. Well stated, Councillor Elliott, and not only council, but the entire community. All the best to you. And any date yet? No, not yet. Not yet? Well, enjoy it, and best of luck to you. 8 years? It took him 8 years. Yeah. That's why it had to be really good. Congratulations, Marianne. And with that, members of council, I will now ask the clerk to bring the confirmatory bylaw.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That the following bylaw be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed. Bylaw number 6095/61/14, being a bylaw to adopt, ratify, and confirm the proceedings of the Council of the Corporation of the City of Port Colborne at its regular meeting of June 9th, 2014.
Thank you, Annette. Mover and seconder, please. Councillor Danch, Councillor Doucette, questions or comments? All those in favor? Opposed? That will be carried. Before I ask Councillor Danch for his motion to adjourn, I'm first going to say, that's a tradition. You look at every agenda since the start of this term, and he has moved to adjourn each and every meeting. But to all you folks watching the COGECO, as was mentioned earlier, by all means, come on down to Thursday nights. You'll be very impressed with the amount of people, the shops, and of course the vehicles, beautiful cars that are parked downtown. Come on down. And for any other information or news about what's happening in Port Colborne, or South Niagara for that matter, or here on Niagara South Coast, be sure to go to our website, portcolborne.ca, and of course filled with information with respect to our programming here in the community. With that, members of council, I ask for a motion to adjourn. Councillor Danch, and that's seconded by Councillor Butters. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Opposed? That will be carried. Have a wonderful week.